Hey, welcome everybody. This is the launch party for Slaying Dragons, which is my next book out. Wrong way. There we go. So, the theme today is music. In the book, one of the characters is in a band, so that is going to be our main entertainment for you. Hopefully today we'll do a few readings, and if you comment whichever way comments are, I don't know, and do some shares, you're going to be put in a drawing for a copy of the book, your choice of ebook or a signed paperback. And I'm super excited that I have trivia questions, and my friend May has given me CDs, so she's autographed them. You may have seen some of her songs. Her song that The Day the Innocent Died went viral on YouTube. She had over 20,000 hits in one day, so I think she's all that in a slice of cheese, so I'll be able to share some of those CDs with you. So I'm glad everybody's here. I'm going to start by answering the first question everybody asks when you write a book, and then I will start with some of our readings. People ask why I wrote Slaying Dragons. I never intended to finish it, really. I would write when I was in a bad mood. I did some scenes, I kind of strung them together, and after COVID hit, I sent it to Annette Maury. She's involved with the Stone Soup Community Press, and I heard her talk about the importance of the Trevor Project and the It Gets Better program, and how Stone Soup supports these and other lesbian literature programs. Since this book tackles mental health, it seemed like a perfect match, and Darla Baker agreed. To be candid, there's a good reason people don't like to talk about their own mental health. Concerns might include people not understanding your condition, people don't want to be pitied, people don't want to be defined by their illness, and they really don't want to lose their job. We must talk about this. 1 in 4 adults have a mental illness of some sort, and the worldwide pandemic has naturally increased those symptoms. Most of us in the LGBTQ community have had at least spent some time at 4 in the morning talking a friend off the cliff. With the changes in laws regarding DOMA and the right to marry, I thought we had moved past the worst of that type of mental health crisis. We have not. Young people feel isolated and they're suffering. Recently, a young man in my daughter's class chose answers in death. We had known him since he was a young boy, and like so many in our community, we were devastated. A young woman painted this mural at the school to remember him and to encourage others. To add a second quote by Abraham Heschel, "Speech has power. Words do not fade. What starts out as a sound ends in a deed." We need this dialogue in our community, and I encourage you to find your strength and use direct language. Not sure where to start? Glenn Close started an organization to encourage discussion, and their website has a mountain of information on mental illness and how to talk to people about this subject. There are videos, articles, and even tools for high school groups. The book Slaying Dragons brought a strong emotional response from my beta and ARC readers, and it almost cost me a week of sleeping on the couch because I didn't warn my wife because I wanted to get her real reaction. I won't do that again. Come along with me on this journey, and I promise there is a happy ending. Alright, so welcome if you've just found us. I know sometimes Facebook Live is a little wonky. If you put some comments, ask questions, put some shares, you'll be entered to win a copy of the ebook or a paperback if you prefer. I can autograph that for you. And we're going to do trivia questions, and those will qualify for a CD, which of course I'll mail to you, but May signed them all, so that's pretty nifty. And most of you, maybe if you've already seen my launch for my last book, Keeping Secrets, you know that my pen name, McGee, is a combination of Scotch-Irish and my favorite song, Me and Bobby McGee. So that is going to be our next trivia question, is who wrote the song Me and Bobby McGee? As I started writing the book Slaying Dragons, I wanted to come up with a hobby for Danny Powell that would be fun and bring her out with crowds, so I decided to make her a musician. One of my beta readers asked me, "McGee, have you ever been in a band?" When the kids were little, they found all my band equipment, and our son said, "Gee, Mom, what's all this stuff?" And I said, "Well, it's the stuff I used when I played with the band." He said, "Wow, you used to be cool." Well, I don't know about that, but I have liked music my whole life. I was a classically trained musician, and when I was in college, I marched with the Bronco Marching Band. Go Up Norbs, UMW! When I was in college, I also started off in my first band as a roadie and then learned to play bass guitar. Jeff and I worked at the same car dealership. He's the drummer in the back. He talked me into playing with his friend Mark in a country band. We sure had us some fun. I sure miss those guys. And you can't say you've been in a country band if you've never played on the back of a flatbed trailer. When we moved to South Carolina, we started up a little group to play music at the local MCC that we went to. I had the honor of playing with some of the best musicians I've ever worked with in my life. And we blew the rafters off of that place. We ended up forming an all-women rock band, and we played for 3 or 4 years, I think, before kids started to get in the way of equipment and gigs.
Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster.
I'm really happy to say that several of the women I played with back then are with me today to play for you, and I hope that you enjoy it.
That I can hold on to.
Thanks for being with us today.
This living is just a hard way to go.
Would rain, roll a song on the wind in New Orleans. Well, I pulled my harpoon and out my dirty red bandana. I was playing a song about that sang the blues. When she was slapping time, I was holding Bobby's hand in mine. We sing every song that driving you. Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing on everything free. Yeah. You know, feeling good was easy, lover, when Bobby sang the blues. You know, feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and my Bobby. From the Kentucky coal mines to the California sun, Bobby shared the secrets of my soul. Through all kinds of weather, through everything that we've done, my Bobby baby kept me from the cold. One day in Mississippi snow, I let him slip away. Well, he's looking for that home, and I hope he finds it. Well, I trade all my tomorrows for one single yesterday, to be holding Bobby's body next to mine. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing on everything free. Yeah, you know, feeling good was easy, lower when Bobby sang the blues. You know, feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and my Bobby. La da da, la da da, la da 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 da.
right, so as you can tell, May has not lost anything in, I don't even want to say how many 20 odd years. So remember the CDs, trivia questions. We already have our first winner. I'm going to read a little passage about the character Danny. There we go. That is a musician, as evidenced by the picture I had drawn. I have an artist that does some of that for me. I can get you her info. She does an awesome job. All right, so here's a little reading. In almost 6 years, Andrea had only met an aunt of Danny's and her aunt's partner. Andrea usually made a pretty good first impression, but this night was extra special. Danny hadn't stopped talking the entire hour-long drive. Her cousin Angie played with a friend at the local lesbian bar on occasion, and she invited her to join them for the evening. Danny was exuberant. Andrea watched for the turn-off sign. Are you nervous? Well, yes, because I'm excited and I don't want to embarrass Angie after she asked me. I have to focus. She bounced her leg up and down. Could you take your Ritalin or something? No, that shit makes me all foggy. I need to be sharp. Danny held her legs still but started playing air drums with the radio. Andrea pulled in near the pub, the neon sign flickering "The Lounge" in red. The parking near the building was monitored by a guard wearing all black. That should be safe enough. She parked as close to the door as she could. Pushing into the front door, the bouncer waved them in when she saw Danny's guitar. At the back, the bartender was serving a line of women as the place was already filling up. A young woman, one who probably needed a fake ID to get into the bar, raced to greet them. Her hair was bleach blonde and grease spiky. Her large elf-like eyes sparkled. She definitely had a family resemblance. I'm so stoked you came. It'll be like when we were kids. Danny grinned. Hey, Angie, this is Andrea Fenwick. Angie stuck out a hand. So you're the one who lured our Danny away to the big city. Nice to meet you. I have some friends sitting on the side there if you want to join them. She made a motion to the stage where a woman was unrolling a sound cable. Stacy's latest girlfriend is there too, but I can't remember her name. If you could introduce yourself and then tell me, I'd really appreciate it. There must be something in the water in Diamond Lake. The dark-haired woman, crouched in the corner of the stage, fooling with wires, stood when she noticed them. Walking over, she smiled. Sparkling white teeth contrasted her dark-tanned face. Andrea wondered if she was Latina or maybe Middle Eastern. She suspected that sizzling smile would no doubt have half the women in here panting when she flashed it their direction. Hi, I'm Stacy. You're Danny, I presume? Andrea was used to people noticing Danny first. Danny grinned. Guilty. This is Andrea. Stacy offered a hand. Great. She can sit with Lexi and my other friends. Angie's flying solo these days, not that a few of the ladies here aren't after her. She waved her hand toward a table and a woman waved back. Angie jabbed Stacy with her elbow. My wife is out of town for work. I am not solo. Angie waved too. Thanks. I look forward to hearing you guys play. Angie, still pink from the comment about the women, nodded. Stacy is great. She can carry us all night. It's a group effort. Stacy tipped her head. It's totally cool here. No worries. We'll play some stuff we know, and you can add some songs if you give us the chords. I put up a mic for you, but you don't have to sing lead unless you want to. I've got some sheet music around here somewhere. Angie grabbed Danny, and they headed for the stage. Andrea caught a server, walking past, and ordered. She went to the table Stacy had indicated. Hi, I'm Andrea. Lexi pulled out a chair. Sure, Danny's girl. Have a seat, and... It had been a very long time since anyone had called her a girl. Andrea took an instant dislike to Lexi. She forced a smile and settled in as they introduced themselves. The waitress was quick and returned carrying a tray covered with beverages, mostly beer bottles. This was a party crowd for sure. Andrea sucked at the straw in her drink, the fruity mix sans alcohol. She watched Danny holding her guitar across her knee, plucking a string as she watched the electronic tuner. Music was the one world that never failed Danny, and Andrea loved seeing her complete focus on the songs. Danny pulled a lock of hair behind her ear and stood, and Andrea felt her stomach tighten just watching her. The small stage had enough room for a three-piece band. It was raised just inches above the dance floor, and the view would be blocked as soon as the other patrons began to move to the music. Andrea adjusted her chair to watch, but not be in Danny's line of sight every time she looked out across the room. Danny was already nervous, and even though one would think her partner would calm her down, Andrea seemed to make her anxious when she played music. Danny was wired tight, that was for sure. Andrea sipped at her drink again, regretting ordering the virgin cocktail. Stacy did a mic check and started the show. Hey, everybody, we're so glad you joined us tonight at the lounge. The crowd whooped and hollered. Stacy was in total control of the room and a natural entertainer. She hit a chord and they launched into an Indigo Girls number. Danny watched Angie's hands from the other side of Stacy, and by the end of the song, she was moving with the beat and managing to smile. Andrea relaxed into the music. Danny was every bit as captivating as she was the first time they met. She'd been playing guitar that night, too. There had been a big bonfire at a friend of a friend's house, and Andrea almost didn't go. She had regretted the decision the longer the night dragged on. Tired of standing around, the cold night air froze her back even as the fire threatened to singe her eyebrows, and if memory served, she had been eyeing a joint that was passed around the crowd. She was seriously considering a few tokes when she heard the strummed chord and turned around. A petite woman with coal black hair clutched an acoustic guitar, the polished wood shining in the firelight. Her soft voice barely raised over the music, her hands massaging the neck of the guitar. Andrea instantly wanted those hands on her. She rarely reacted to someone new with such intensity. She was certain everyone could feel the energy between them. Danny was cordial when introduced, her dark eyes revealing no secrets. It seemed she was not as immediately struck by Andrea and her unremarkable appearance. Andrea spent the rest of the party finding excuses to worm her way next to Danny. It was shameless and obvious. When Danny said that she had to leave, Andrea practically shouted at her to stay out and go to Denny's for a grand slam. The fastest route to a woman's heart is her stomach, and Danny proved no exception. Eventually, Andrea's steady world was a lure for Danny, who knew nothing but chaos. A power chord brought Andrea back to the barroom, and another round of applause from the audience, and soon the little group had the dance floor packed. She watched as Stacy picked her way across the strings, forcing the most from the instrument. Danny was mesmerized and looked happy. Andrea smiled to herself. Danny was more than moody, but lately the status was always sour. It was good to see her in her element, strumming along. Everything was right with the world, for a moment anyway. Okay, so our next trivia question refers to one of my favorite bands from high school. These ladies from the 80s shared the stage with three men until their lead guitarist died of AIDS and they never replaced him. What band was it that gave the world hits like Love Shack, Rome, and Private Idaho? First correct answer gets a copy of the CD from May. And if you have put in comments and questions, you're going to be entered for a copy of the book, an ebook, or a paperback, whichever you would prefer. And somebody had asked where's the rest of the band in the video. I didn't have a chance to talk to the guys, and so I didn't want to include images from people I hadn't really had a chance to work that out with. So this is a video from May's CD, and I hope you enjoy.
Tell me how to stop this fire. God knows I've tried. A woman can only be so strong for only so long. I remember when I first looked into your eyes. It was the first try so hard not to feel. Mistakes are made and the heart cannot be concealed. Right or wrong is what you make yourself believe in your mind. The search for truth comes from the heart, and I believe you'll find. I remember when I first looked into your eyes. It was the first time I realized I'm only human. Oh, I'm only human, and I know. I remember when I first looked into your eyes. It was the first time I realized I'm only human. Oh, I'm only human, and I know I'm only human.
Alright, sorry about that audio glitch. I rebooted my computer before we started thinking it would help, and instead it broke some of the links, so I'm upset about that. But you know you want that car. It was freaking awesome, and the song's great, and the whole CD is here, signed copies. Answer the trivia questions, which the next one is, what 80s vocal group made up of 3 women equipped with British roots? That's not a good sentence. Released classic dancing songs like Venus, Cruel Summer, and Love in the First Degree. So 80s vocal group, 3 women, British, Cruel Summer, Venus, yada yada. Honestly, I always got them confused with another band, so I had to look this one up in full disclosure there. Alright, so I am going to read yet another little teeny clip here, and then we have some more music for you with our launch party for Slaying Dragons. In the 3rd floor of the refurbished manufacturing building, Tommy paced in the living room of her home. The view from most of the windows in Tommy's condo would be described in a real estate advertisement as a community view, meaning that the windows overlooked a parking lot. But a huge picture window in the great room looked over the park with the river between them. Tommy walked across the thick carpet for the 3rd time and realized that she was pacing. This is ridiculous. Just be a friend. Pick up the phone. She lifted the handset and punched in the numbers. Hey, Andrea, this is Tommy. I wanted to see if you were busy next Saturday. There's this mutt strut downtown for the Humane Society. Let me look. Tommy could hear Andrea flipping through papers. Sheila's kennel is having all the graduates wear matching bandanas. Green will be sharp on Odo if he doesn't eat it. Andrea laughed. He seems to be past the chewing stage, but you never know. It looks clear. Where should Danny and I and Odo, of course, meet you? Tommy heard the phone. Tommy held the phone with a tighter, sweaty grip. The baseball dugouts, home side, by 9:30. There's a demonstration of some border collies at 10. They're bringing in sheep and everything. You have got to be kidding me. The other dogs are going to go bananas. Tommy laughed. Yeah, you busted me. They're just doing obstacle courses. That still might make the other dogs crazy, but it sounds cool. We will be there. See you at work. Yeah, see you. Tommy held the phone a moment, then set it down in the cradle. Maybe it would look especially pitiful if she was alone and had no dog to walk. She picked up the phone, hit the number 6 preset, and waited. Her brother Nigel answered, Yo. Hey, you want to go to the park next weekend with me? They're having a big fundraiser for the Humane Society. Sure, Bingo would love to join you. Can I come too? He laughed. He's a former pound puppy, you know. Yes, she did know. He said it every single time they talked about Bingo. I think they have a special bandana in red for the rescue dogs. How's the latest squeeze? Monica? You forgot her name. There are a lot to keep up with. He laughed again. You're not wrong, and she's hunky-dory. I'd asked her to join us, but she's allergic to dogs, and she'd be miserable. Tommy tried to sound sincere. That's too bad. Tell her I asked about her. See you downtown about 8. We can eat at that little bistro before we head over. For sure. See you then. Tommy hung up and wondered how a professional dog trainer, such as herself, well, maybe a substitute on occasion, didn't have any pets. Funny how life turned out. Maybe she should get a goldfish or something. She clicked on her computer and waited for the modem to connect. She was almost late for her online quest. The development of virtual role-playing games was a new level of geek, but Tommy embraced it. Warcraft might be even better than face-to-face RPGs, although she'd never admit that to her college dungeon master. Grinning, she logged in knowing the testosterone-fueled young men would be sad to discover that, once again, Xena 2 was going to kick their asses. Okay, so we did the trivia question. Y'all are fast on these answers, I have to say. Later in the story, there's a scene where Andrea is playing some music while she's cooking in the kitchen, and it is Lissa Etheridge music. So once again, here's the remnants.
I would dial the numbers just to listen to your breath, and I would stand inside my hell and hold the hand of death. You don't know how far I can go to ease this precious ache. You don't know how much I give or how much I can take just to reach you, just to reach you. Oh, to reach you. Oh, come to my window, crawl inside and wave by the light of the moon. Come to my window, I'll be home soon. Keeping my eyes open, I cannot afford to sleep. Even though with promises, I know that I can keep. Nothing takes the blackness that is stricken to my chest. I need you in my blood, I am forsaking all the rest. Just to reach you, just to reach you. Oh, to reach you. Oh, come to my window, crawl inside and wave by the light of the moon. Come to my window, I'll be home soon. I don't care what they think. I don't care
Hey again. I wanted to take a moment to make a mention of my friend Melanie Jones. In the book, the character Melanie Jones is loosely inspired by her. We went to high school together. We ran track in that. Her husband sat next to me in English class. And when I was working on this book, I had some artist scenes, and I am not anywhere near an artist. I can't draw out of a bag without an arrow. So I texted Melanie. I said, look, I know you're busy. Can you take a look at some sections for me? And she said, sure. So I sent her a couple chapters, and she caught a pretty big snafu for me, and then mentioned that, she still did some art and stuff. And I'm like, cool. So she asked what my cover was going to look like. So I sent her kind of a little, draft of something, and didn't expect much of it. Well, the next morning at 7 a.m., I had inbox with that image on it, and it turns out she does book covers. Who knew? So that is her email. If you want to get a hold of her, she's revamping her webpage, so that's a little bit dicey at the time, but for sure you can reach her there, and obviously she does great stuff. So that's pretty cool. Let me not forget my next trivia question, because that would be horrible for CD. One garage band with humble California beginnings became famous as the girls with the big 80s hits and even bigger hair. What iconic girl band released Manic Monday, In Your Room, and of course, Walk Like an Egyptian? So that's a give ya, if I ever heard of one. So let's see. All right. The next section that we're going to do is one of my favorite hymns. The book Slaying Dragons has some certainly very dark sections in it. It's not for everybody, but I'm hoping it will be a catalyst, easy for me to say, for some discussion and, get some people kind of shining the light into the dark corners there. So, again, this is one of my favorite hymns.
Grander earth has quaked before, moved by the sound of his voice, and seas that are shaken and stirred can be calmed and broken for my regard. And through it all, my eyes are on you, and through it all, it is well. And through it all, my eyes are on you, and it is well with me. And far be it from me to not believe, even when my eyes can't see. And this mountain that's in front of me will be thrown into the midst of the sea. And through it all, my eyes are on you. And through it all, it is well. And through it all, my eyes are on you, and it is well. It is well. And through it all, my eyes are on you, and it is well with me.
All right, so we have one more trivia question for CDs. I'm going to try and scroll through, see if y'all had any questions. Remember, if you do questions, shares, comments, we'll put you in for a drawing to win an ebook or a paperback with the autograph, if that's what you would prefer. I want to do a little shout out to Colleen and Ellen who are listening. Colleen was my softball coach back in the day. I was enthusiastic, if not non-athletic. So, anyways, they're two of the characters in the book. They work at the bookstore, so I thought it was a great tie-in because back in the day, the name of our team was from a bookstore. So, let me see if I can do this scrolly thing. I have on new glasses. Thanks for noticing, Gail. Which means I'm trying to see out of them because, of course, trifocal means try to see out of them. So, okay, let's see here. Okay, well, it looks like so far we're pretty good on the question front. Let's see. Y'all are smart on these bands, goodness. All right. All right, so last trivia question, because I think I talked about it and then forgot to read the dang thing. This hard rock band wasn't only active in the 80s, but they've been producing material since 1973. Although the backing band has changed over the decades, the two front women, sisters Ann and Nancy, have been in the band for practically the entire run. To which band is this referring? Easy breezy. Easy breezy. So, well, at least for me, because I love this band. Question from Ellen, thank you. What can you expect from me? Well, right now, actually, my first two self-published books in the Diamond Lake series are in production for audiobooks, and book 3 is not quite ready to go to an editor, but it's getting there. So once that is done, the whole series will be done in Audible books, so that's pretty cool. Taking a GCLS Writing Academy class right now, so as something to work on, to have a mentor to work with shooting for the spring time frame, working on a second chance romance set in South Carolina, so figured we might as well get a little closer to home, so I think that one's going to be pretty fun. So I think I have hit everything in my notes. I've mumbled quite a bit. Thank you again so much for everybody popping in today. I see I've gone over my set estimated time, so I apologize for that. If you have any other questions that pop in your head, I'll try to sneak back around and pop them in there later. For the first week that the book is out, it's actually going to be on sale for $2.99 in ebooks, so the official release date is the 1st, but if you go ahead and click on that at Amazon, you can order it now. It'll pop right in there at like midnight, and there it will be, and save you a little bit of cabbage on that anyways. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your day or evening or morning or whatever it is where y'all are, and I appreciate you so much. I'm going to end with a little clip from the band back in the day, and I'll catch y'all on the other side. Thank you.
Good job!